They said it started on a Tuesday. It was raining, the kind of rain that made people stay indoors. That filled potholes and soaked through jackets. Cold, relentless. The kind that made the cemetery feel even quieter than usual. And that's when people first saw him. A dog. Medium-sized, golden brown, soaked through and unmoving. Sitting by one grave like he belonged there. Not barking, not pacing. Just sitting. Watching. At first, they thought he was lost. Someone called animal control. They came out with a van and a loophole. But when they got close, the dog growled low and backed against the headstone. He didn't run. He didn't bite. He just stared with those glassy, tired eyes until the officers gave up and drove away. He's not dangerous, the caretaker said the next morning. Just broken. The caretaker's name was Harris. He'd been working the graveyard for over 20 years. He'd seen all kinds of things. Teenagers daring each other to spend the night. Drunks stumbling between headstones. Even a proposal once. But never this. The dog didn't leave. Even when the rain stopped. Even when the sun came out. Even when the wind blew cold through the trees and the cemetery emptied. He stayed. Always at the same grave. The stone was small, white. The name, etched into it, read, Emily Marie Thompson. She was 6. The date said she'd passed 2 years ago. The grave was simple. One plastic butterfly stuck in the dirt. A small teddy bear someone had left once, now faded from the weather. No one knew who the dog belonged to. He had no collar, no tag, no microchip. But he had a name once. People just didn't know it yet. It was Sam who found out first. He wasn't supposed to be there. 13 years old, skinny, quiet. He didn't go to school much anymore. Not since his dad left and his mom stopped getting out of bed. Sam wandered the streets a lot, hands in pockets, hood up, trying to be invisible. The cemetery was his shortcut home. He spotted the dog curled up beside the grave one afternoon, head resting on its paws, eyes half closed. At first, Sam thought the dog was dead. But when he stepped closer, the dog's eyes opened. It didn't move. Just watched. Sam knelt down slowly, careful not to startle him. You okay, buddy? He whispered. The dog blinked. He looked tired. His fur was matted and wet at the edges. His ribs showed faintly beneath his sides. But there was something about his eyes. Not wild, not mean. Just waiting. Sam placed his sandwich gently on the ground, tore off a piece, and held it out. You hungry? The dog didn't move. Sam waited. The wind picked up behind him. Finally, the dog sat up, sniffed the air, and took the food from his hand, gently, like he'd done it 1,000 times. Good boy, Sam said softly. You've been here a while, huh? The dog licked his lips and laid back down. Sam glanced at the grave. Emily, he read aloud. Is that who you're waiting for? The dog looked at the stone. Then back at Sam. For a moment, nothing moved. Then Sam whispered, Did she used to be yours? The dog didn't answer. But something in his stillness said, Yes. Sam started coming. Every day after that, he'd bring bits of food, old crackers, leftover chicken, anything he could sneak from home. He'd sit by the grave and talk, even if the dog didn't respond much. Sometimes Sam would ask him questions. Were you there when she got sick? Or did you try to find her when she left? Or the one that hurt the most, did she tell you goodbye? The dog never barked, never whimpered. He just listened. After a week, Sam gave him a name. I'm gonna call you Max, he said. You look like a Max. The dog didn't flinch. Like he already knew. One day, Mr. Harris approached. From the path. He was carrying a trash bag and wiping his nose with a handkerchief. You're the kid that's been feeding him? He asked. Sam nodded. He's not mean. I know, Harris said. He's just stubborn. They both looked at Max, curled at the grave's base. I tried calling the shelter, Harris added. Tried luring him with beef jerky. Nothing worked. Because he's waiting, Sam said. Harris looked at the grave. That her name? Emily? Yeah, I think she was his girl. Harris sighed. Ben, that dog's got a broken heart. Sam didn't answer. Later that evening, the clouds rolled back in. Sam crouched by Max again, pulling his hoodie tighter. You don't want to come with me? He asked. It's gonna rain again. Max didn't move Dot, so Sam stayed Dot. It rained hard that night. The two of them sat side by side, a boy and a dog in the storm, both quiet, both cold, but not alone Dot. It was the first night Sam didn't feel completely empty inside. The next morning, people walking by the cemetery fence saw them, the dog, and the boy. One woman snapped a photo. Another posted it online. By evening, it had been shared hundreds of times. Dog refuses to leave child's grave, but now he's not alone. Comments flooded in. Some offered food. Others wanted to adopt the dog. But Max didn't leave, and neither did Sam. One afternoon, Sam brought a blanket. He spread it beside the grave and sat cross-legged, pulling out an old book from his backpack. Want to hear a story? He asked. Max blinked slowly. Sam opened the book and began reading. His voice was shaky at first, then stronger. Max watched him the whole time. A soft breeze blew across the cemetery. You know, Sam said, lowering the book. I used to have a sister. Her name was Grace. She was little. She died in a car crash. He paused. I was supposed to watch her that day, but I didn't. I stayed upstairs playing video games. His throat tightened. My mom never looked at me the same after that. Max rested his head on Sam's shoe. Sam let the silence stretch. I think that's why I understand. You, he whispered. You stayed. Because she mattered. Max gave a soft sigh. And Sam, for the first time in a long time, didn't feel ashamed for crying. The days kept coming. The weather changed, but Max stayed by Emily's grave. Every morning. Every night. As if waiting for something he still believed. Mike returned. And Sam kept coming too. He didn't tell his mom. She wouldn't have listened anyway. But Max listened. And sometimes Sam thought maybe Emily was listening too. It happened one evening when the sun was setting. Sam arrived late. Max wasn't at the grave. Panic hit him fast. Max? He called, spinning around. Then he heard it. A soft bark. Not far. He followed the sound around the row of graves and found Max sitting beside something. A small, weathered stuffed rabbit. One ear torn. One eye missing. Max nudged it toward Sam. Was this hers? Sam whispered. Max nudged it again. Sam picked it up gently. You brought it back. He didn't ask how Max had found it. He just knew what it meant. She must have really loved you. Sam whispered. And you never stopped loving her. The wind picked up. The sky was turning gray again. Max returned to the grave, laid down beside it, and placed his head on the rabbit. Sam sat beside him. No words. Just the sound of the trees, the breeze, and two hearts that knew what it meant to lose something you never stopped waiting for. The rain came again, but they didn't move. If you feel connected to this story, please like, share, and let know your city or country below. The rain had stopped, but the ground was still soft. Mud clung to Harris's boots as he made his morning rounds, pushing the rusted wheelbarrow through the narrow path between rows of graves. He knew this place better than anyone. Knew which headstones needed fixing, which ones hadn't seen visitors in years. But lately, he'd been walking slower when he passed one particular grave. Emily Marie Thompson, and the dog. Still there, still silent, still watching. It had been over a week now. He never barked, never chased squirrels, never even lay down like other dogs. Just sat beside the grave like it was his job. Harris paused near the fence, chewing the inside of his cheek. You got nowhere else to be? He muttered. The dog didn't even blink. That's what made it eerie. Not the dog itself, just the stillness. The way it didn't act like a dog anymore. The way it just waited. That afternoon, Harris tossed a strip of beef jerky a few feet away from the grave. The dog didn't move. So he left. When he came back an hour later, the jerky was gone. But no one had seen the dog eat it. It happened again the next day. Harris dropped a crust of bread, walked off. Came back later. Gone. He tried again with a small bowl of canned meat. Still the same. Always eaten. Never in front of him. You're shy, huh? Harris mumbled. Or maybe you just don't trust people anymore. The dog lifted his head at the sound of his voice. But only for a second. Then he went back to watching the grave. By the fourth day, Harris pulled up a folding chair and sat 10 feet away, hands resting on his knees. You know, she was a sweet girl, he said, not really expecting an answer. Used to leave dandelions on the other graves. Said she didn't want anyone to feel forgotten. The dog didn't move. They buried her fast, Harris continued. Family was torn apart. Father left town. Mother's in some care place now. Broke her. He rubbed his face, his voice lower now. She was the kind of kid that made everything feel lighter. The wind blew gently. The dog's fur ruffled, but he stayed. Still. Harris shook his head. But you already knew that, didn't you? He leaned forward. I don't think you're mourning. His voice dropped to a whisper. I think you're waiting. That night, Harris couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the dog. The way it hadn't moved from that spot since the storm. How it didn't act hungry unless no one was watching. How it never sniffed around like strays usually do. It was like he had one mission. And nothing else mattered. Harris sighed and got up. Poured himself a glass of water. You're getting soft, he told himself. The next morning, he brought scrambled eggs in a paper bowl and placed it just a few feet from the dog. Then he sat down on the same folding chair. The dog didn't look at him. Didn't look at the food. An hour passed. Harris dozed off in the chair, hat covering his face. When he woke, the bowl was empty. The dog still hadn't moved. You sly old thing, Harris mumbled. You wait till I sleep, huh? The dog's ears twitched. A few days later, Harris noticed something different. The boy from before, Sam, was back. He was crouched beside the grave, whispering to the dog. Harris stayed hidden behind a row of shrubs. He didn't want to interrupt. Didn't want to ruin the trust. Sam placed something beside the dog. Looked like half a sandwich, then leaned back. You don't talk, do you? The boy said. But I think you understand everything. The dog didn't flinch. Sam continued, voice low. My mom doesn't ask where I go. She just sleeps all day. No one really notices me. Not like she probably noticed you. He paused. I think maybe you were the only one she talked to when she felt alone. The dog blinked slowly. Sam gave a small smile. Now you're the only one still talking back. He stood, dusted off his jeans. I'll come tomorrow, he said. Don't forget me, okay? After the boy left, Harris stepped out. The dog turned his head slightly, acknowledging him. You let the boy close, Harris said quietly. But not me. He crouched slowly, not too close. Just enough to look the dog in the eyes. What do? You see when you look at that stone? He asked. You see a promise? The dog didn't move, but his tail gave the slightest twitch. Harris stood again. You know, I lost someone once, he said. My daughter. She was 12. His voice cracked for a second, then steadied. I used to sit in her room after school hours, just in the doorway. I didn't say anything. I just listened for a sound. Any sound. He looked back at the grave. I think that's what you're doing. That night, Harris left a blanket near the grave, folded neatly. Not too close, just within reach. The next morning, it was pulled beside the dog. He was lying on it, not curled tight, just resting. The old man stared, blinking back something behind his eyes. "You're not just loyal," he said softly. "You're grieving." By now, more people had noticed. A few had started coming by to see the grave dog. Some took pictures. Others tried to pet him. But the dog ignored them all. He only responded to Sam, and sometimes to Harris. One woman asked, "Why don't you just take him in? Find him a home?" Harris shook his head. "He has a home, and it's right there." She frowned. "But the girl's gone." "Not to him," Harris replied. "Not until she says goodbye." Week passed. Then another. One morning, Harris arrived to find the dog lying with his nose touching the headstone. His eyes were wide open, not moving. At first, Harris panicked. But then the dog blinked. Slow, calm. He was still waiting. "Whatever you're waiting for," Harris said quietly, "I hope it comes." That evening, he sat in the folding chair longer than usual. The sun dipped low behind the trees, painting everything in orange light. The dog rested his head on the ground. The silence between them was peaceful, but heavy. Then Harris whispered, almost to himself, "You don't need to protect her anymore." The dog didn't respond, but the old man stayed until dark, and when he left, he looked back once, just to be sure. The dog was still there. Still faithful, still waiting the next morning. Sam returned before sunrise. He didn't bring food this time, just curiosity. Something about Max had gotten under his skin, not just the way he stared at the grave, but the silence in his eyes. Like he'd seen too much and chosen to carry it alone. Max was there, of course, sitting like always, back straight, eyes fixed on the same headstone. Sam crouched beside him and sighed. "You didn't sleep, did you?" No reaction. Sam pulled his hoodie tighter and reached into his pocket. He had found it the night before, tucked in a library book someone had left behind on the cemetery bench. A small, wrinkled photo, slightly faded. A little girl with braids. A golden retriever by her side, tongue out, both smiling like they had the world in their hands. He held it up next to Max's face. "It's you," he whispered. "That's you." Max turned slowly, glancing at the photo, then back at the grave. "I knew it," Sam said, heart pounding. "You're not just some stray. You're hers." He looked at the name on the stone again. Emily Marie Thompson. "She was your girl," Sam said. "And you were hers." Max didn't bark or move, but his eyes softened. Sam sat down on the cold grass. "But this was 2 years ago. The grave says she died 2 years ago." He glanced at the photo again. "You're older now, but it's you. Same ears, same eyes, same fur. You stayed." Sam's voice dropped. "But how? How did you survive?" Max blinked once, then looked away. "I'm serious," Sam said. "Most dogs don't make it that long on their own. No food, no shelter. And still here? Every single day?" Max lowered his head to the ground, touching his nose to the photo. Sam's throat tightened. "You weren't just her pet," he whispered. "You were family." The wind picked up slightly, carrying the faint rustle of leaves across the cemetery path. Sam leaned closer. "Do you remember the last thing she said to you?" Still no sound. "Just quiet. I wonder if she asked you to wait," Sam continued. "Or if you just decided that on your own." Max looked up, eyes glistening just a little in the morning. Light. Sam wiped his nose. "I think maybe I would have done the same." He pulled his knees to his chest and stared at the photo again. "My dad used to say dogs move on quick. But you broke that rule." There was a pause. Then Max shifted, slightly, resting his head against Sam's shoe. Sam froze, then smiled. "You do remember her, don't you?" he said softly. You're not just waiting, you're remembering. He stared at the photo again, noticing something new. A small detail, the edge of a pink collar around Max's neck. In the picture, there was a silver tag shaped like a heart. He looked at Max now. No collar. No tag. What happened to it? Sam whispered. Did someone take it? Or did you bury it with her? Max's eyes closed slowly, as if he was back in that moment. Sam sat in silence, letting the air speak. For them, after a while, he stood and brushed off his jeans. I'm gonna find out more about her, he said. About you, about what happened. He tucked the photo gently into his pocket. You deserve more than just silence. Max didn't follow, didn't react, but Sam knew he heard Dot as Sam walked away. He glanced back once. Max had returned to his post, eyes on the stone, body still, as if nothing had changed. But Sam knew better. Something had shifted, and it all started with a photo and a question. Asterisk. It had rained all day. By nightfall, the sky was still dripping, slow, steady, quiet. The kind of rain that makes people stay in bed. But not Sam. He sat by his window, hoodie on, fingers tapping the glass. His mind kept going back to the photo, to Max, and to that name carved in stone, Emily Marie Thompson. He couldn't stop thinking about how Max had touched the picture with his nose, like it meant everything. And then something strange started tugging at him. It was the way Max stared into the trees. Sam had seen it more than once now. Max, stiff, alert, gazing into the woods near the edge of the cemetery like he was waiting for something or someone to come out. Tonight, Sam needed to know why. So he slipped out the front door with his flashlight and a plastic bag of crackers. His mom didn't hear him. She hadn't heard much of anything lately. The graveyard was soaked and empty. Mud squished under his shoes. The headstones looked like shadows. Max was there. Just like always. Soaked. Still, he didn't react when Sam approached. Hey, Sam whispered, crouching next to him. You look like you haven't moved in hours. Max's eyes didn't leave the trees. Sam followed his gaze. It was dark, thick with leaves and branches. Nothing there. Just woods. You keep looking over there, Sam said softly. What are you waiting for? Max didn't blink. That's when Sam heard it. A crack. A small sound, like a footstep on a branch. Not loud, but sharp. Not an animal. Someone. Sam froze. Did you hear that too? He whispered. Max's ears perked. His body tensed. Another sound. This time closer. The soft scrape of a shoe against wet leaves. Sam held his breath. From behind the trees, a figure stepped out. Just a glimpse. Long coat, hood up, face hidden. Max growled. Low, deep. Sam's heart pounded. The figure didn't move closer. Just stood at the tree line, half covered in shadows. Then, in a blink, they turned and slipped back into the woods. Gone. Sam stood up, shaky. Who was that? Max was already up, pacing in a tight circle, sniffing the air. Tail stiff. Sam looked at the spot where the figure had vanished. He wanted to run after them, but something held him back. Instead, he stepped closer to Max and whispered, You've seen them before, haven't you? Max's body lowered. He lay back down beside the grave, but didn't take his eyes off the trees. Sam sat next to him. Why would someone come here at night? He asked. And why would you react like that? Max didn't answer, but his body didn't relax either. Sam thought back to the caretaker, Mr. Harris. He said Emily's family fell apart after she died. Her father left. Her mother broke, and Max disappeared. But what if she didn't just die? Sam whispered. What if something happened that no one talked about? The rain kept falling, but softer now. Sam pulled out the bag of crackers and placed one near Max. You were protecting her, weren't you? Even when nobody else could. Max didn't eat. He stayed alert. Watching. Sam looked into the trees again. The figure hadn't come back. Tomorrow, Sam said. I'll ask Mr. Harris more questions. Something's not right. He reached over and gently touched Max's damp fur. You've been holding on to something, he whispered, and I'm going to help you find it. Max finally blinked, then rested his head against the grave. Sam sat beside him until the rain stopped. He didn't move. He didn't speak, and neither did Max. But in the quiet, one thing was clear. The grave wasn't the end of the story. It was just the place where someone still waited, in silence, for the truth. Asterisk. The next day, Sam couldn't shake the image of the figure in the woods. Who were they? Why did Max react like that? And why did they vanish the second Sam looked their way? Something about it felt wrong. Not like a random person cutting through trees. It felt connected to Max, to Emily, to everything this dog had refused to let go of. So Sam did something he hadn't done before. He went to the town library. It was quiet inside. Smelled like old paper and lemon cleaner. Sam walked up to the desk where the librarian, a kind woman named Mrs. Oliver, smiled at him. Need help with a book? She asked. Not really, Sam said. I need an address, she blinked. Of who? Emily Marie Thompson. Her smile faded. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. I need to see where she used to live, Sam said. It's important. Mrs. Oliver studied his face for a second, then nodded. She and her mom lived just outside town, on Willow Creek Road. House with blue shutters, but it's been empty since, I know, Sam said quietly. 10 minutes later, Sam was standing in front of it. The house was worse than he expected. Paint peeled off the sides. 2 windows were cracked. One was boarded up with plywood. The front gate hung crooked on its hinges, but the mailbox still had a name written and faded. Black letters. Thompson. Sam pushed open the gate and stepped onto the overgrown path. Weeds scratched his ankles. The door wasn't locked, just swollen with age. It groaned when he pushed it. Inside, the air was thick with dust. It felt like the whole place had frozen the day Emily died. Old furniture was still in place. A tiny pair of pink shoes sat near the wall. Dishes in the sink, now crusted with age. On the wall hung a faded crayon drawing, a girl holding hands with a dog. Sam's eye stung. He stepped deeper inside. Emily? He whispered, even though he didn't know why. The hallway creaked under his shoes. That's when he saw it. A muddy paw print. Fresh. Not dusty like the rest of the floor. Sam froze. Max? No answer. He followed the prints. They led to the hallway, then to a doorway. Inside was what used to be a bedroom. The walls had butterflies painted on them, though they'd started to peel. But on the floor, something stood out. A small blanket, worn, gray, and folded, dragged to the side of the hallway, like someone or something had been sleeping on it. Sam's chest tightened. Have you been coming here? He whispered. He walked over and touched the blanket. Damp. A little fur stuck to the corner. Max. Sam breathed. Suddenly, behind him. A thump. Sam spun. Silence. But something had moved. He stepped back into the hall, heart racing. Then he saw it. A door slightly open. Not leading to a room, leading down. A basement. The air from below felt colder. Sam grabbed his phone, turned on the flashlight, and started down. The stairs creaked. The basement was mostly empty. A dusty table, some boxes, cobwebs in the corners. But in the far corner, a dog bowl. Old. Rusted. Beside it, another muddy paw print, and something else. A silver heart-shaped tag. Sam knelt down and picked it up. The chain had snapped, but the name was still clear. Kalan Max thought he whispered. You never stopped coming back, did you? He stood and looked around. Were you hiding here when she died? No answer. He pocketed the tag and slowly climbed back upstairs. His head was spinning. Back in the hallway. He paused at the front door. He looked back once more, eyes landing on the muddy prints, the dragged blanket, and the broken silence of a house that still held memory. Then he stepped out. Back outside. Max was waiting, sitting near the sidewalk. As if he'd known. Sam walked up slowly. You followed me. Max stood, walked over, sat at his side. Sam pulled the tag from his pocket and showed it. I found it. In the basement, next to your bowl. Max stared at it. You used to live here, Sam said. You came back, again and again. You didn't just sit by her grave. You slept where her scent still lived. Max looked at the house, then back at Sam. You're not lost, Sam whispered. You just never stopped looking. A breeze passed between them. Quiet. Heavy. Sam kneeled and placed a hand on Max's head. I don't know what happened in that house, he said, voice trembling. But I'm gonna find out. Max pressed his head gently against Sam's shoulder. And for the first time, Sam felt the weight Max had been carrying. The weight of waiting, remembering, and never forgetting. They stood there together, in front of the broken house, both knowing this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning of truth. The air inside the broken house still felt heavy. Sam had returned the next day. He couldn't stop thinking about the collar tag, the muddy paw prints, or the way Max waited outside like he'd done it 1,000 times. This place was more than just memory. It was a secret still breathing in silence. Sam walked quietly through the hallway. Max followed close, his paws patting softly against the wooden floor. He paused near the drawing on the wall, the one of the girl and the dog. That's you, isn't it? Sam whispered. She loved you. Max stood still, eyes fixed on the picture. Sam turned toward what used to be Emily's room. The bed was gone, but a shelf full of stuffed animals remained. Dust covered most of it, but one teddy bear looked like it had been moved recently. Sam stepped closer. Behind the bear, the wall had a crack in the wallpaper, just wide enough to notice. He leaned in, gently peeled it back. His fingers hit something, a small box, wedged between the wall and the wooden slats. He pulled it out slowly. It was an old shoebox, taped shut. Sam sat on the floor and peeled the tape away. Inside, the smell of old paper hit him first. Letters, dozens of them, folded, stacked, some with tiny stickers on the corners. The top one had childish handwriting. To Mommy. He opened it carefully. The ink had faded, but he could still read it. Dear Mommy, I know you're sad. I hear you crying at night. I wish I could make it better. Max licked my hand today. That made me smile. Sam swallowed hard. He looked at the next one. Dear Max, thank you for staying next to me when I was sick. I don't want to go to the hospital again. You make me feel brave. Max stepped closer now. He sniffed the box and sat beside Sam, tail not wagging, just still. Sam picked another letter. This one was folded differently. To Max, only open if I'm gone. His fingers shook. He unfolded it slowly. Dear Max, I don't know if I'll wake up after this time. They say I have to sleep at the big hospital. If I don't come back, will you stay with me anyway? Will you remember me? Please don't leave me, even if everyone else does. Love, Emily. A tear dropped onto the page before Sam could stop it. Max stared at him. His eyes weren't sad. They were deep, like he was already remembering every word before. Sam even read it. She asked you to stay, Sam whispered. And you did. Max lowered his head, gently pressing his nose to the box. She knew, Sam said. She knew she might not make it. And she told you to remember her. He looked around the room. The stuffed animals, the quiet shelves, the worn edges of a girl's world frozen in time. She didn't trust anyone else, Sam said. Just you. Max gave a soft huff. Not a growl. Not a whine. Just a sound, like a memory being let out. Sam placed the letter back in the box and held it close. All this time, he said, you weren't just waiting at a grave. You were keeping your promise. Max moved closer and laid his head on Sam's lap. And for a long time, neither of them said anything. They just sat there, surrounded by words that were never mailed. In a house that still remembered what love looked like, even when no one else did. Asterisk. The next morning, Sam stood outside the library, Max by his side. The box of letters was tucked under his arm, the photo folded neatly in his back pocket. Max didn't pull at the leash. He didn't even need one. He just walked beside Sam, like he always had. Inside, Mrs. Oliver looked up from her desk and blinked. You brought a dog into the library? Sam stepped forward quickly. Please, I need to show you something. It's important. She hesitated, then nodded. All right, come in before someone sees. Sam led Max to a corner table, pulled out the photo, and laid it down gently. Mrs. Oliver's eyes widened. That's Emily, she whispered. And that's Max, Sam said. The same dog. He's been living at her grave. She sat down, shaking her head slowly. That can't be. Max vanished the day of her funeral. Everyone thought he ran away. Sam opened the box and pulled out the folded letter. She wrote this. She asked him to stay, even if she didn't come back. Mrs. Oliver reached for it, her hands trembling. She read it slowly. Her face changed. She really asked him to stay, she whispered. And he listened. Sam looked at Max. He never ran away. He didn't abandon her. No, she said. He waited. There was silence. Sam finally asked, why didn't anyone look for him? Mrs. Oliver sighed. Her mother was too broken. Her father left town the same week. No one thought about the dog. Sam's voice was tight. He thought about her. Max sat quietly, eyes on the window. He came back to the grave, Sam said. Maybe the day she was buried. Maybe the day after. But he never left. Mrs. Oliver nodded slowly. All this time, I walk past that cemetery every week. I've seen him. I never knew. Sam leaned forward. I want people to know the truth now. I want them to know what he did for her. Mrs. Oliver smiled gently. I can help with that. She stood, walked behind the counter, and returned with a small, dusty book, a collection of old local obituaries. Here, she said, flipping pages. Emily's page. There's a name. She pointed. Max, beloved golden retriever. Sam whispered. She made sure they mentioned him. Tears stung his eyes. Even in the end, Mrs. Oliver said, she was thinking of him. Sam closed the book gently. Then maybe now, it's time we think of him too. Max blinked slowly, as if he understood every word. Sam bent down and hugged him. You did everything she asked, he said. And more. And Max, silent as ever, rested his head on Sam's shoulder, as if waiting had always been his promise. Asterisk. Sam kept coming back, every day after school, no matter the weather. Rain, wind, or cold, it didn't matter. He'd show up with his wives, backpack and a sandwich wrapped in foil, and Max would already be waiting by the grave. Just like always. At first, Max kept his distance. He didn't move when Sam sat down, didn't react when the letters were read out loud. But he stayed, and so did Sam. Double quotes. Hey, buddy, Sam would whisper, unpacking his food. I brought you turkey today. No onions. Max never rushed to eat. He'd wait until Sam looked away, then quietly nudge the sandwich closer. Then eat, carefully. No mess. That's how it went for days. Sam talked. Max listened. And one day, Sam brought the letters. "I think these are yours as much as they're hers," he said, holding out the box. "So I'm gonna read them to you." He opened the first one. "Dear Max, you're the only one who understands. Mommy cries a lot, but you never leave my side." Max didn't flinch. So Sam kept going. Letter after letter. Soft words meant for a dog who was more than just a pet. He was everything. Sometimes Sam paused, not because he forgot the words, but because the emotion got too heavy. His voice would crack. He'd stop, breathe, and then keep reading. And Max would just sit there, his eyes not on the grave, but on Sam. Then one afternoon, something changed. Sam had just finished reading a letter where Emily had written, "Even if I'm gone, I'll still love you. Please, don't be sad." He folded it slowly. That's when Max stood up, walked over, and laid his head in Sam's lap. Sam froze. Max's fur was damp from the grass. His breathing was slow, heavy, but his eyes, they weren't guarded anymore. They were soft. Sam whispered, "You remember every word, don't you?" Max didn't move. Every scent, every moment, every goodbye. Still no sound. Just that silent weight pressed gently against Sam's leg. "You're not just loyal," Sam whispered, stroking behind Max's ear. "You're heartbroken." Ah! Tears slipped down Sam's cheek before he could stop it. "I know how that feels," he said. "To love someone who disappears. To wait for something that won't come back." Max let out a quiet breath. Like he agreed. Sam stayed there until the sun dipped behind the trees, his fingers still tangled in Max's fur. And for the first time since Emily died, Max didn't face the grave. He faced the boy beside him, because maybe, just maybe, the waiting wasn't so lonely anymore. Sam couldn't sleep. Something about the way Max rested his head in his lap, the way his body seemed lighter that day, made Sam feel like things were changing. But it also made him feel something else. Worried. So when the house grew quiet and his mom's bedroom door clicked shut, Sam grabbed his jacket and slipped out. The air outside was cold, the sky moonless. He crossed town with only his flashlight and a sense that something was pulling him back to the cemetery. Max wasn't at the grave when Sam arrived. That was the first sign. "Max?" He called gently. No answer. Then he saw it. A figure. Tall. Still. Standing just beside Emily's grave. The person was wearing a long black coat. A hood covered their face. They didn't move. They just stood there, staring down at the stone. And Max was standing in front of the grave, low to the ground, tail stiff, body shaking. Sam's voice cracked. "Hey, who are you?" The figure didn't turn, but Max barked, once, loud and sharp. Then the man stepped back and vanished behind the trees. Sam rushed toward Max, kneeling beside him. What was that? Who was that man? Max was still trembling, his ears flattened. His whole body looked like it wanted to run. Sam wrapped his arms around him. "It's okay. I'm here." But Max didn't calm. He kept staring at the trees. His breathing was fast. Sam had never seen him like this. The dog who sat through thunder and rain was afraid. Sam stayed with him through the night, never sleeping, just sitting with one hand on Max's back. By sunrise, Max finally closed his eyes. The light hit the grave just as Sam stood to stretch. That's when he saw it. The stone had been scratched, deeply, jagged claw marks across the front. Not just one. 3 long ones. Sam froze. Max stood beside him, nose to the marks. Sam whispered, Did he do this?" Max didn't move. Sam turned to him. "Who was that man, Max?" He pulled the collar tag from his pocket, held it tightly. "Whoever. He is, you know him, don't you?" Max looked up at Sam. His eyes weren't scared anymore. They were watching, waiting. Sam said, "I'm going to find out what he wants." Max pressed his head into Sam's hand, and for the first time, Sam felt it clearly. This wasn't just about grief anymore. It was about danger. And Max was still protecting her. Sam didn't wait long. The scratches on the grave, the trembling in Max's body, the man in black, none of it made sense. But one person might have answers. Mr. Harris. The old caretaker had worked that cemetery for decades. If anyone knew what happened the day Emily was buried, it was him. Sam found him near the chapel steps, broom in hand, sweeping wet leaves into a pile. "Mr. Harris," Sam called. The old man looked up, squinting. "You again. I need to talk to you," Sam said. "It's important," Mr. Harris sighed. "You've been asking too many questions, boy. Some things are better left quiet." Sam stepped closer. "I saw someone at her grave last night." Max was terrified. "And this morning?" There were claw marks on the stone. That made the old man pause. "Claw marks?" he asked. Sam nodded. "Deep ones. Something's wrong. And you know something." "I can tell." Mr. Harris dropped the broom. His eyes drifted toward Emily's grave in the distance. "That grave," he muttered, "isn't what it seems." Sam's heart skipped. "What do you mean?" Mr. Harris took a breath. "The day Emily died was strange. The service was small. Her mom barely spoke. And Max, he wasn't at the funeral. They said he ran off." "He didn't," Sam said. "He stayed. He came back." Mr. Harris nodded. "I know that now. But that day, after we buried her, her mom stayed behind. She sat by the grave for hours, just staring." Sam listened carefully. "Then what happened?" he asked. Mr. Harris's eyes grew darker. "She disappeared." "Disappeared?" Sam repeated. "No one saw her leave. By nightfall, her car was still parked by the gate. The sheriff looked everywhere, but she was gone. No note, no clue." Sam swallowed. "Did she run?" "Some say she did. Grief makes people vanish. But others—" He stopped. "What?" Sam pushed. "What did they say?" Mr. Harris's voice dropped. "They say something took her." Sam felt a chill run through his arms. "Took her?" The caretaker nodded. "That cemetery? It's old. Older than the town. People say it holds more than just the dead. Some say there's something buried deeper. Something that watches." Max, who had been standing beside Sam, suddenly let out a low growl. Mr. Harris looked at him. "He knows," he said softly. "He was there that night." Sam turned to Max. "Did you see what happened to her?" Max's growl deepened. His fur stood up. "He's still guarding her," Mr. Harris whispered. "Even after all these years." Sam's voice trembled. "But what is he guarding her from?" Mr. Harris shook his head. "That's what you need to be careful about. If that man in black is back, it means something's waking up." Sam stood in silence, the pieces of the past slowly clicking into place. Emily didn't just die. Her mother vanished. Max never left, and now something was stirring. "Then I'm not leaving either," Sam said. He looked at Max. "Whatever this is, we face it together." And Max, without a sound, pressed his side gently against Sam's leg, because some protectors never stop. Not even when the world forgets. Why? Sam couldn't stop thinking about Mr. Harris's words. That grave's not what it seems. The idea haunted him all night. He kept replaying every detail. Emily's disappearance, her mother vanishing, the man in black, and Max's growl when the past was spoken out loud. Something was buried. But what? The next morning, Sam skipped school and headed straight to the town church. The doors were open, and the place was nearly empty. He found Father Thomas in the front pew, flipping through a worn book. "Father?" Sam said softly. The old priest looked up, surprised. "Sam, is something wrong?" "I need to ask about Emily Thompson," Sam said. Father Thomas blinked. "Emily It's been years. I know, Sam said. But there's something not right about her grave. I checked public records last night. There's no official death certificate. Just a funeral listing. The priest's face tightened. You were there, Sam said. You blessed the burial. Father. Thomas looked around, then motioned Sam to sit beside him. After a long pause, he said quietly, "There was no body." Sam stared. "What?" "There was no body in the coffin," Father Thomas repeated. "Just her favorite dress and a few of her toys." "Why?" Sam asked. "Why would they bury an empty coffin?" Her mother insisted. The priest whispered. She said Emily was gone, but not dead. She said the girl was taken, not by a person, but by something else. Sam's voice dropped. Why didn't anyone stop her? She was grieving, Father Thomas said, and desperate. We didn't question it. The town was quiet about it. Everyone wanted to move on. But Max didn't, Sam said. He stayed. And now he's trying to tell us something. The priest raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Sam stood. Every night, Max scratches the dirt next to her grave. Same spot. Same time. Over and over. Father Thomas didn't speak. Sam continued. He's showing us. Trying to get us to see what he already knows. The priest looked down at his hands. If you disturb a grave, Sam, there's nothing to disturb, Sam said. You just told me. There's no body. That night, Sam returned to the cemetery. Max was already there. As the sun dipped behind the trees, the dog stood and moved to the grave. Then, without hesitation, he began scratching. Sam watched, claws into dirt. A rhythm, not frantic. Not wild. Just steady. Determined. Sam knelt beside him. What's here, Max? What are you trying to show me? The dirt was soft, looser than the rest of the ground. Sam started digging with his hands, side by side with Max. Minutes passed. Then something caught beneath his fingers, a wooden corner. Max stopped and stepped back. Sam brushed away more dirt. It was a box. Not big, not heavy, but sealed. He pulled it free and opened the lid. Inside was a photograph, Emily holding Max, both smiling. Next to it, a folded piece of paper. Sam opened it. She's not gone. She's just hidden. Don't stop looking. The handwriting was shaky, faded. And at the bottom, barely readable, one word. Mom. Sam whispered. She left a message. Max sat, staring at the box. And Sam finally understood. This grave wasn't just a symbol of loss. It was a place holding up secret, a secret Max had protected with his life. And now, that secret had started to speak. Sam didn't go home that night. After finding the message beneath the grave, the photo, the note from Emily's mom, he couldn't stop shaking. He sat with Max, watching the grave, thinking of the words. She's not gone. She's just hidden. Don't stop looking. But what did it mean? Who was he? At sunrise, Sam ran straight to the caretaker's house. Mr. Harris opened the door in his flannel shirt, half asleep. Sam? He mumbled. What time is it? I need your help, Sam said, breathless. There's something under the grave. I found a box last night. It had a note from Emily's mom. She said someone lied. Mr. Harris blinked, now fully awake. What kind of lie? She said Emily's not dead. The old man stared for a long second. You sure about that? She wrote it, Sam said, with her own hand, and Max found it. 10 minutes later, they were back at the grave, shovels in hand. Max sat nearby, his eyes locked on the headstone. Where exactly? Harris asked. Right beneath the stone, Sam said. Max keeps digging near the base. The caretaker knelt and pressed his hand to the ground. So soft, he whispered. Shouldn't be like this after all these years. Sam began to dig first, careful not to disturb too much. Harris joined him quietly. Thought it wasn't long before the metal edge of a box peeked through the dirt. Harris pulled it out slowly. It was rusted, small, sealed tight. He opened it carefully. Inside, wrapped in faded fabric, was a doll. Her dress was blue, one eye missing, the stuffing peeking through the seam. Next to it, a silver locket, dusty, but untouched, and beneath that, a folded note. Sam's hands trembled as he picked it up. The handwriting was the same, shaky, desperate. "She's not dead," he lied. "I saw her breathing." He told me to say goodbye anyway, but I know what I saw. If you're reading this, don't trust him. Max whimpered. He stepped forward, nose low to the box. Then he raised one paw and placed it gently on the note. Sam looked at him. "You knew, didn't you?" Max stayed still, but his eyes were wet. Mr. Harris whispered, "Who's he?" Sam shook his head. "I don't know. But someone wanted Emily gone, and they made her mother pretend she was." Harris frowned. "That's why there was no body." Sam nodded. "She didn't agree with it. She was forced to bury a lie." Max let out a low, long breath. Sam touched the locket, opened it. Inside was a tiny picture. Emily, no more than 5, holding the same doll. "She never got to grow up," Sam whispered. Or maybe she did, somewhere. The thought sent a chill through his chest. Mr. Harris looked uneasy. "We need to be careful, Sam. If someone lied back then, they might still be watching." Sam looked at Max. "Then let them watch," he said, "because we're not stopping." Max gave a soft, steady bark, the kind that said, "I've waited long enough. Let's finish this." Sam sat alone at the back of the town library. Piles of old records surrounded him. Birth certificates, newspaper clippings, employment files. The fluorescent light buzzed above, but he didn't care. He flipped through a file labeled Cemetery Personnel. 12 years ago. There, buried between faded ink and forgotten dates, he found it. Name, Gordon Pike. Position, groundskeeper. Terminated, April 3rd. Reason, suspicious behavior. Multiple complaints. Sam's eyes narrowed. April 3rd. That was just weeks before Emily's funeral. He turned the page. There was more. No forwarding address. Declined final paycheck. Known contact, Margaret Thompson. Emily's mother. Sam whispered, "They knew each other." He kept reading. Record flagged. Previous arrest in 1996. Endangering a minor. Case sealed. Sam's stomach turned. Mrs. Oliver walked past and paused. "You've been at that table for 3 hours," she said gently. "What are you looking for?" Sam turned the file so she could see. She read the name. "Gordon Pike. I remember that man. Tall, always wore black. Gave everyone the creeps." Sam's voice was tight. "He worked at the cemetery?" She nodded. "Didn't last long. People complained. Someone said he was sneaking around the graves at night." "Did he go to Emily's funeral?" Mrs. Oliver paused. "I don't know. But I remember her mother looking scared. Not just sad, scared." Sam picked up the old staff photo from the file. It was grainy, but Gordon's face was clear. Hard eyes, thin mouth, no warmth. "Can I borrow this?" Sam asked. Mrs. Oliver hesitated. "It's not supposed to leave the library, but you're not doing this for nothing. Just bring it back." Sam nodded and rushed out the door. Max was waiting at the cemetery gate. Sam knelt beside him. "I found something. Someone." He pulled out the photo and held it up. "Do you know him, Max?" Max looked once, and the reaction was instant. A deep, sharp snarl tore from his throat. His body stiffened. His ears went back. "Max," Sam said, surprised. But Max didn't stop. He barked, loud, angry, teeth bared. It wasn't fear. It was rage. Sam pulled the photo back. Okay. It's him. It's him. Max finally stopped, though his body still trembled. Sam sat beside him. This man was there when it happened. Maybe he did something. Maybe he made her mother lie. Maybe. He looked down at the photo. He took Emily. Max let out a low, broken whimper. Sam placed a hand on his fur. We're getting close. I can feel it. And Max, eyes still, fixed on the darkness beyond the trees, didn't look away, because now they had a name and a face to chase. Asterisk, it started with Max growling again. Not the soft, low growl he gave when squirrels passed. This was deeper, older, like a memory. Waking up, Sam looked up from the stone, where he'd been rereading the note Emily's mother had left. Max stood stiff, eyes locked on the far end of the cemetery. Then Sam saw him. The man in black. Same height, same posture, same face as the old photo from the archive. Gordon Pike. Only now he wasn't just watching. He had a shovel. Sam whispered. No, Max didn't wait for a signal. He ran. Sam bolted after him, heart pounding in his ears. Max, stop! But Max was faster, charging across the grass, barking louder than he ever had before. The man in black froze for a second, then swung the shovel. Missed. Max lunged again, pushing the man back. Sam shouted, Help! Somebody help! The man turned towards Sam now. His hood slipped for a second, revealing a pale, weathered face. Eyes sunken deep. I told them all to forget, he muttered, raising the shovel again. But this dog remembers. Max growled louder. Sam backed away. Why did you hurt her? Why lie about Emily? The man's voice cracked. She saw something she wasn't supposed to. The girl, then the mother started talking. I had no choice. Max barked, furious. The man raised the shovel higher. You should have stayed gone, mutt. Before he could swing, a voice cut through the air. Drop it. Flashlights lit up. The night, the zookeeper, Mr. Harris, 2 officers. The man in black froze. On the ground, now. One officer yelled. The man dropped the shovel. Max didn't move. He stood protectively in front of Sam, his growl still rumbling in his chest. One officer moved forward, cuffing the man's wrists. The other scanned the area. What's going on here? He asked. Sam pointed to the spot the man had been digging. He was burying something, or digging something up. The zookeeper stepped beside Sam. He's been watching this graveyard for weeks. Start digging, one of the officers said. Max sat down beside Sam, panting hard. But his eyes never left the man. The officer started digging, inch by inch. The earth opened. Then the shovel hit something. Wood. Everyone fell silent. It wasn't a coffin, just a box. But when they opened it, bones curled inside, like someone hiding. One officer knelt closer, examining the shape. These aren't from a child, he whispered. They're from a woman. Mr. Harris's voice cracked. Emily's mother. Sam's chest tightened. She never ran, he whispered. He killed her. The man in black didn't deny it. He just stared at Max. He knew, the man muttered. He always knew. One of the officers read the old arrest record Sam had brought. Endangering a minor. Now we know why the file was sealed. The other officer placed a tarp over the grave. Sam stepped forward, looking down at the bones. She tried to protect Emily, and he silenced her. Mr. Harris put a hand on his shoulder. But she left a trail. And you followed it. Sam looked at Max. We followed it. Max walked slowly to the grave and sat beside it. Not guarding. This time, but mourning. The officer sighed. We'll send forensics. Try to confirm identity, but it's clear enough. The man in black was led away. Still quiet. Still staring at Max. Sam turned away, unable to meet that stare. He walked. to Emily's grave. Knelt beside it. Max kept his promise, he said softly. He stayed. The zookeeper joined them. And now you know why. Max sat down beside Sam and rested his head on the boy's knee. You saved her memory, Sam whispered. You saved the truth. The wind picked up, soft and cold, and in that silence, it felt like someone was listening. Someone small. Gentle, someone gone, but never forgotten. The police station was quiet. Cold. Sam sat in a chair outside the interview room, Max curled by his feet. The zookeeper paced nearby, arms folded tight. Inside, Gordon Pike sat alone, cuffs around his wrists. But this time, he wasn't quiet. He was talking, and the whole town would never be the same again. Sam watched through the glass as the Detective Monroe leaned forward. Start from the beginning, she said. Pike's voice cracked. Emily saw something. Something she shouldn't have. What did she see? She walked in on me, at the caretaker's shed. I was hurting another child. He looked down. I told her not to speak. I begged her. But she ran, straight to her mom. Outside. The door, Sam's fists tightened. Max whimpered, his ears folding back. Inside, the detective asked, what happened next? Her mom threatened to tell, said she'd go to the police. I panicked. I followed her home. I thought I could stop. Huh. You killed her, the detective said flatly. Pike nodded. I didn't mean to. But once it was done, I buried her in the cemetery. Quiet. Fast. And Emily? Pike's hand shook. That's the thing. She vanished. You said you staged her death. I did. I had to. Her mom was already gone, and the town would ask questions. So I planted the dress. Her toys. I even gave a speech at her funeral. But what happened to her? I don't know, he whispered. She ran before I could find her. Maybe she escaped. Maybe. He looked away. Maybe something worse. Max stood. His body pressed against the glass. The detective noticed. You buried the truth. And that dog, she pointed to Max. He stayed. Pike laughed bitterly. I couldn't believe it. Every day, that mutt showed up. Wouldn't leave. Sat by the grave like he knew I was lying. You watched him. Every night. He said. Every single night. Outside, Sam knelt beside Max. He never forgot, Sam whispered. And now no one else will either. An officer stepped out and handed the detective a folder. She scanned it and nodded. DNA from the bones confirms it. The woman was Margaret Thompson, Emily's mom. Pike closed his eyes. The detective stood. You're done. And you'll spend the rest of your life behind bars. As they dragged him out of the room, Pike glanced through the glass. Straight at Max. And for the first time, he looked afraid. Max didn't bark. Didn't growl. He just stared back, calm. Still. Like justice finally had a name. Later that night, Sam sat with Mr. Harris by the grave. They got him, Sam said quietly. It's over. The old man nodded. You did what nobody else could. No, Sam replied, looking at Max. He did. Max lay beside the headstone, his eyes half closed, the wind soft around him. For the first time in years, he rested. Days passed since the confession. The town was still reeling, but Max wasn't done. He kept pulling at Sam's sleeve, barking low. Standing at the cemetery gate, looking toward the trees beyond. At first, Sam thought Max just wanted to walk. But every time they neared the edge of the woods, Max stopped and stared into the trees, waiting. One morning, Sam looked at him and whispered, Is there more? Max wagged his tail once, then turned and walked toward the forest. Sam followed. The woods were quiet, thick, old. Max walked ahead with purpose, like his paws remembered every root, every turn. Sam kept close, the trail getting harder, narrower. But Max didn't stop. 2 hours passed. Still, Max kept going. Then he paused. In front of a large, hollow tree. Its base was cracked open, like a mouth gasping for air. Max sniffed. Then sat. Sam stepped forward and peered inside. His breath caught. Inside the hollow trunk, there was a small, torn pink backpack, faded, covered in dirt. But the name stitched on the front was still clear. Emily. Sam single quotes as hands shook as he pulled it out. Inside were drawings, crumpled letters, a hairbrush, and beneath them, bones. Small, fragile. He froze. Max lowered his head and let out a sound Sam had never heard before. Not a growl, not a bark, a cry. Sam knelt beside him. She ran here, didn't she? Max didn't move. She hid. She waited. Sam's voice broke, and no one found her. Tears fell from his eyes as he looked down at the backpack. She was just a kid. Max leaned gently against Sam's side. You knew, Sam whispered, all along. You were trying to show us. Max pressed his nose to the old tree. Sam pulled out his phone, called the zookeeper. We found her, he said, voice trembling. We found Emily. By sunset, officers arrived. The backpack and bones were collected with care. No one said much. They didn't meet. The DNA later confirmed it. It was her. Emily had run from the horror, tried to survive, but she never made it out of the woods. Sam returned to the cemetery that night. Max followed, slow and silent. They stopped at her grave. Sam placed a single flower down. Then the backpack, now clean, beside the stone. He whispered, she waited for someone. He looked at Max, and you waited for her. Max lay down and rested his head on the grave. And this time, Sam didn't cry alone. Asterisk, the town had never seen a funeral like this. Not because it was grand, but because it was honest. For the first time in years, they were burying Emily. Truly, properly. With truth, not silence. With love, not fear. A small white casket stood under a tree near the edge of the cemetery. Flowers circled it. Notes, teddy bears, and candles lined the path. People stood in silence, heads bowed. Max walked at the front, not leashed. Not led. Just walking. Beside him, Sam carried the backpack they'd found in the woods. Emily's name. Stitched across the front. Mr. Harris held a folded blanket, the same one Max had once dragged through her empty house. The zookeeper stood behind them, his hand gently resting on Sam's back. The air was quiet. The kind of quiet that only comes when something is finally ending. The priest cleared his throat. We laid to rest Emily Thompson, a girl who never got to grow up, but who never stopped being loved. Sam looked at Max. He was staring at the casket, ears low, tail still. When the priest stepped back, Sam stepped forward. I didn't know her, he said. But Max did. He held up the backpack. He never stopped waiting, and because of him, we found her. The crowd was silent. I think love doesn't always need words. Max didn't speak, but he stayed. He stayed for years. Sam placed the backpack gently on top of the casket. Then he knelt beside Max. She's safe now, he whispered. Max leaned forward and touched the casket with his nose. Then, slowly he lay down beside it. The whole town watched. Some cried. Some just looked down. Even Mr. Harris wiped his eyes with the corner of his sleeve. The zookeeper whispered, he's not just saying goodbye. He's saying, you're free now. As the casket was lowered, Max stayed there, silent, still, loyal as ever. Sam stayed beside him until the last shovel of dirt was placed. When it was done, Max stood up. He walked to the head of the grave and lay down one last time, like he'd done for years. But this time, it wasn't to wait. It was to rest, and maybe to let go. Asterisk, they didn't go far. Just a little house near the edge of the woods, close enough that Max could still smell the trees and feel the wind from the old cemetery. Sam brought only a few things. A worn photo of Emily and Max, the folded blanket, her backpack, now placed gently on a shelf, and Max, the dog who never left. The town called them heroes, but Sam never saw it that way. He just did what was right. Max had done the rest. Every morning, Sam opened the door, and Max would step outside, tail wagging softly, like he was checking the world again, watching, listening. He didn't bark much, didn't chase squirrels or dig holes, but every night, around the same time, Max would walk to the porch, sit down, look up at the sky, and just listen. Sam would watch from the window. Sometimes he'd join him. One night, the wind was stronger than usual. The trees swayed, and the stars felt closer somehow. Sam sat beside Max and whispered, "Do you still see her?" Max didn't move. His ears twitched slightly. Sam waited. Then, just as he was about to speak again, a soft gust of wind swept across the porch. It brushed past his cheek, light and warm, like a hand, like a small hand. Sam smiled, eyes wet. "She remembers you." Max blinked slowly, then laid his head in Sam's lap. They sat like that for a long time. No words, no movement. Just a boy, a dog, and something in the night that felt like peace. The world kept moving. But for them, in that little house near the woods, it finally felt still. And in that stillness, somewhere between memory and love, Emily was home. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and mention where you're listening from. Did this story touch your heart? Give it a thumbs up, share it around, and drop your location in the comments.